Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing great today. I appreciate those of you watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. And I figure since this is 2024, this is an election year, a lot of politicking going on, why not do a review of a political show? Not really. That really was my focus going into this. Decided to say that just because I thought it would be cool, whatever. Anyways, I can see I'm very uncool. Anyways, let's talk about this show called My Fellow... I put down My Fellow Americans. Is that what it's called? It's called My Fellow Citizens. The reason why it's not called My Fellow Americans is because this is a Korean show. So yes, the appropriate title is My Fellow Citizens. It's a South Korean show, came out, I don't know, a little while ago. Between 2016 and 2020, I know that much for sure, because they talk about Donald Trump a lot in this series and how he was able to win the election. So anyways, let's get into My Fellow Citizens. It's about a con artist who happens to marry a police officer, and he kind of keeps his life secret from her. When they first got married, he didn't know she was a police officer until after the marriage. By that time, he's already fell head over feet for her, so he's trying to keep his life on the down low, secret. Our policewoman here, she doesn't know that he's a con artist. So unfortunately for a con artist, he conned the wrong people who are now wanting to use him to run for politics, for a seat in their house, like a Senate, if we're talking about America here, because there's a certain bill that they want to continue, which will allow them to discontinue. There's a bill, I guess, over there in Korea where interest rates can't go past a certain level, and this this loan shark lady here is wanting to get that eliminated so she can raise rates as high over as she wants and it still be legal. So they use him. The show reminds me a lot of the Eddie Murphy movie, Distinguished Gentleman. If you don't know what that's about, Eddie Murphy plays a con artist who decides to run for Senate. I can't really remember the reasons behind his theory. I think so you can pull off like the biggest con or something. That's just so you get more money because politicians make a lot of money. I think that was the reason, if I remember that right. It's been about 30 years since I've seen that one. But this does remind me a lot of Distinguished Gentleman in the fact that there's a con artist running for government. And just like in Distinguished Gentleman, this guy ends up winning his seat. And, it's just a comedy. And we see him trying to eventually do the right things, because he does have a good heart, even though he's conning people. I guess you could say his change of heart came from his wife. And so this is another one of those, which I like. Not really good. I don't really like those romance shows. I like those shows that deals with like a family, a husband and wife type of thing. Those are my kind of shows. And so this show really does kind of talk about the role that a politician and responsibility a politician has in his society for the people of the government, and really goes to like kind of touches like what is the difference between a politician and a con artist? Is a politician just another con artist, only they have the laws on their side and they have power on their side, and that's why they get away with their cons. You get that a lot in the storyline between what's the difference between your average con artist out there on the streets and a con artist that's in government. You get that a lot because our main character here, our male lead, he gets schooled by former politicians who's trying to help him gain this seat, get the votes that he needs to get the power to come into power. So that's a lot of argument between the ex-politician and our con man. Just a couple things about this show is when you're watching it, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, either by how the law works or just the story-wise. Like some of the decisions the characters make are they're not really logical. So it's one of those shows where you just need to go with the flow. The more you just go with the flow with this and you kind of turn your brain off, the more you enjoy this show. It does have a lot of funny parts, because they do suspend like logical choices and what would really happen for the comedy aspect of the show. That's why you kind of have to suspend your belief, like, there's no way that would really happen. Like, the law don't work that way. A con artist wouldn't do this thing, wouldn't do this. You kind of have to put that aside because they're just making things up as they go for the comedy. This is a kind of like a romance comedy, political comedy type of show. So just keep that in mind while you're watching it. So, the more you ask, like, the more you question why their decision making and if the law really works that way, the less you enjoy it. But the more you turn your brain off, the funnier the show will be, because they do sacrifice reality for the comedy in the show a lot. So just keep that in mind. On this channel, we have 3 judge these shows, by 3 different systems. We got highly recommend, which is a fantastic show. Disrecommend, which is it's your average good show. And recommend with caution means that it's a bad show. If you like bad shows, you would like this, or bad movies, you would like this movie, or it's meant for just a certain group of people. I'm going to give this one, that's how I just would give this a recommend. It's a barely recommend. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the show that's illogical. However, you'll find yourself laughing at it because of the comedy that's involved through the illogical decisions these people make. I do believe this has like one of the funniest chase scenes I've ever seen in a show. I'm trying to remember it. I didn't write down in my notes. But I think there's a chase scene where he's chasing somebody and it's going on forever. And, to eventually the part where they're both exhausted and they can barely move and walk anymore. It's very hilarious. Oftentimes, when you watch these shows and you see the criminal and the cop chasing them, they're running for like miles and miles. They're still basically sprinting. It's like, these guys don't even work out. How are they able to run a marathon and not be winded? This show, there's a chase scene this is if I remember right. I've watched so many shows, but there's a chase scene where they both get tired and can barely move. Personally, in my shape, out there maybe a half a mile, I would be like these guys. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed this review. I'll recommend it. It's almost on the borderline of recommend with caution, but I feel like the humor is enough to foster just a solid recommend. Find this on the Viki app. I hope you enjoy this review. Check it out. Check this series out if you have time. It is 36 episodes, but each episode's like a half hour long, so it's a little different from your normal Korean show. Anyways, have a great day and bye.